All right, everybody, let's see what we got here. We're given a Venn diagram. The universal set U is, of course, all of this stuff. Set B is all of this stuff. And set C are those two elements. So B would contain P, Q, Y, F, and R. So not just them, but those as well, because they're contained inside of set B. And then B union C means everything in B and everything in C. And that's just going to be the same thing. So, I mean, I guess I could just say it's equal to B, or all of that stuff there, P, Q, Y, F, R. And then B complement intersect C complement. Okay, now we got to take that one a little slower. So B complement is everything outside of B. So that right there. And we want to intersect that with everything outside of C. Well, everything outside of C is that right there. Now, if it were a union symbol, we would just keep everything I've underlined. But it's intersections, so we're going to only take what they have in common, which is that right there. And that's it. Okay, on this one, so we've got the animals treated by Dr. Rodriguez and the animals treated by Dr. Flores. And so the question is, if we're talking about R intersect F, well, the intersection is where the overlap, fish and cats, then which of these choices represents that? Okay, well, it wouldn't, so and typically involves, or I'm sorry, intersection typically involves the word and. This one has or, so that's not going to be it, but this one does have the and. So the set of animals treated by both Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Flores. So, so that would be it right there. Okay, but for the sake of learning, what are we going to do with all the others? Okay, well, what do the others represent? So this first one represents Rodriguez or Flores. That means everything in here. So gerbils, fish, cats, snakes, dogs, birds. This one means set of animals at shelter not treated by Dr. Rodriguez. So anything outside of the Rodriguez circle, snakes, dogs, birds, rabbits, mice, turtles. This one is similar. Those animals not treated by Flores. Gerbils, rabbits, mice, turtles. Everything out of the Flores circle. Let's see, how about this one? Set of animals at the shelter treated by Rodriguez or not treated by Dr. Flores. You know, that's getting a little more complicated. So let's write it like this. So the animals that are treated by Rodriguez or is union, let's see, or not Dr. Flores. So I'll put the not symbol there. And so that would be everything in R. But we would also want to do everything in F complement. So everything outside of F. Okay. And union means keep everything that's underlined, not just the intersection. The intersection would just be gerbils, but so all of these guys right here, that would be it. And let's do one more of those. Let's see if we can find something a little different. Yeah, this looks good, I guess. So the set of animals not treated by both Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Flores. So that one would be Rodriguez and Flores, but it says not Rodriguez and Flores. So for that, we would first find, or we could first find R intersect F, or you could use oh dear, I forgot the name of the rule, but anyway, we haven't learned it yet anyway. So R intersect F, that's where they overlap. But the complement of that is going to be everything else, everything outside of that intersection. So everything I just underlined in red or green or brown, whatever color it is, that would be the answer for for that right there. All right, so let's go back to what the actual answer was on this one. Okay, so the roster form for the set of animal types at the shelter treated by both Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Flores is going to be, let's see, that was, why isn't it typing? It's peculiar. Oh, well, I'll just write it with my cool pen. So R and F is going to be the fish and the cats. The kitty likes the fishy. Okay, so then part B says, let's do the same thing again, but for a different set. So this time it's fur complement, Flores, Union, Rodriguez complement. So what would that be? What would that look like? Well, F union R is just everything in F or R, but the complement of that would be everything that's not underlined. So rabbits, mice, turtles, that's it. Okay, that would be everything in the set F union R complement. All right, now, so which of these do we choose? Well, looks like it'll be that last one. A set of animals at the shelter that are not treated by Dr. Flores or Dr. Rodriguez. So yeah, rabbits, mice, turtles, the ones that are outside the circles. Okay, for this one, we're now going to get into statements. Okay, determine, and this is just kind of where the whole statement idea starts, is just determining if something actually is a statement. Now, to understand that a little better, we're going to look at their explanation because they just say it really well. Okay, so a statement is a sentence that is either true or false. No statement. Statement cannot be true and false at the same time. Statement does not require an opinion to determine its truth value. Questions, commands, and exclamations are not statements. So for example, if I say run, that's not a statement because I can't say, well, that statement is true or that statement is false. It just really wouldn't apply. So the main thing here to focus on is a statement is true or false. So let's see what we've got here. The team won its most recent game. Yeah, that's a statement because it's either true or it's false. How many units do you need to graduate? Well, it wouldn't make sense to reply true or to reply false to that, so it's not a statement. The lion is a type of tree. That's a statement, and it's false. 17 minus 5 equals 12. That's a statement because it can be determined to be true or false, in this case, true. Do your homework. That's a command that, well, again, it wouldn't make sense to say that statement is true or that sentence is true or that sentence is false, so it's not a statement. So that's all. Okay, on this one, so also to shade in the two sets. So the first one, A intersect B complement, would be, so A intersect B is right there, and the complement of that is everything else. So I'll shade in everything that is not A intersect B. It looks like that. And over here, we've got A complement, which is everything outside of A. Okay. And then we've got B complement. So everything outside of B. And I know I don't draw very well, even just lines. Okay, and it says we want the intersection of the two, which is going to be where they overlap. Well, it looks like they overlap right here where I see horizontal and vertical lines. So yeah, it looks like it's just everything outside of the two circles, two sets, A and B. So on the left, everything it is shaded is the answer, and on the right, everything that's in red or brown or whatever is the answer. Okay, so then we would, so then the follow-up question down below is, are the two sets equal to each other? No, they're not. The same regions are not shaded in both diagrams. Okay, on this one, we're gonna identify simple and compound statements, okay? So if you have, if you have an if then, or an if and only if, or an and, or an or in the problem, or in the statement, then it's going to be compound. But if you don't, it's just a simple statement. You don't have multiple statements connected. So part A, the children in the sandbox are building sandcastles. There's no and, there's no or, there's no if, there's no then. So it's just a simple statement. Okay. However, in part B, it says you should sign the contract if and only if you agree to all the terms. Okay, well, that's compound. And if and only if always means biconditional. Okay, here's why. Because if and only if in the context of this statement means if you sign the contract, then you agree to all the terms. And if you agree to all the terms, then you sign the contract. So it means both if then statements. If this then, if the contract and the terms, and the other direction, if the terms and the contract. Okay, and then we've got the cafe is open and it serves salads. Okay, I see that keyword and, so I know it's compound. But I don't see an if then or an if and only if. So it's just going to be either conjunction or disjunction. If it's an and, we call it a conjunction. If it was an or, we call it a disjunction. Okay. Let's try one more of those. Okay, let's see. He plans to buy a new car if he gets a raise. Oh, there's that keyword if. In other words, if he gets a raise, then he plans to buy a new car. That's an if then statement, which is one of the compound statements, and that would be conditional. It doesn't say if or only if, which would make it biconditional. Monkeys and elephants live in the jungle. Ooh, there's and, so we know it's going to be a compound. And like we said, means conjunction, because that's essentially the conjunction of two statements. Monkeys live in the jungle, and elephants live in the jungle. The last one says, my favorite game is truth or dare. Now this time it is a simple statement, okay? Yeah, there's that keyword or, but or is part of the title of a game. It's not being used as a conjunction. It's just part of the title. So it's kind of like saying my favorite game is chess, or my favorite game is checkers, and then there's no and or. So it would just be a simple statement.